Most agencies never make it past 50K per month because they're optimizing for the wrong metrics. They're chasing more clients when they should be fixing 3 specific bottlenecks that actually controls the revenue. After scaling my own agency to over 300K per month and then exiting it for multiple millions in just under 4 years, I tell you exactly how to scale your agency to 100K per month fast. And in this video, I'm gonna go walk you through the exact 3 steps I use to scale and then exit my agency. And what I now do with every single agency that I consult or invest into. So let's jump straight into it. The very first thing we have to understand is the unit economics of making 100K possible. Most agency owners, they're kind of blind to what LTV, CAC, and scalabilities are. So I'm gonna jump into my computer and walk you through our actual step-by-step process of growing your LTVs and your progression so you understand what to actually do. So when we step in here, the lens of growing a business is understanding your lifetime value and your customer acquisition cost. And these are separate metrics, but it makes your business grow significantly faster. So quick little math here, just grab the total cash that you've collected. This is the simplest way to actually find your LTV if you are not tracking it. Grab all the cash that you have inside of your business that you've collected in cash specifically. Do not do projected lifetime like cash that you're projected with revenue. Run through all of the units you sold. So how many units? So I'm just going to give you guys an example. 1.7 million in cash collected. You had 200 customers. That hits you at an 8,500 gross lifetime value. That is your gross lifetime value. Now, there's more to this, but this is where we first start. I'm assuming right here that you just sold an $8,500 thing. You're not upselling people. You're not retaining clients. Like, you're just selling a one-time thing. And we'll walk through how to actually expand and grow past this. The golden standards that we want to focus on is having at least a gross LTV of 8K, but preferably you're at 12K. And the ideal is 20K plus on every single customer. This is way harder than it seems, and I'll explain why. Because there's hidden costs to your CAC. Everyone looks at monthly ad spend, closed deals as their current CAC. So, like for example, you spend $5,000 a month on ads, you close 4 deals, so then your 5,000 divide that by 4 is 1,250 is your CAC. That's just your media CAC. What about your sales, which is also equivalent to it? So if you're paying closers 10%, that's going to be $850 for just the closer. Then you're going to have a setter who's going to also get 5% of that, $425. Then you will have management over time, so you have to account for that, which will be 4% of that. So overall, 1,615 is going to your sales CAC in addition to your media CAC. And then you're also going to have fulfillment costs, which is going to be your fulfillment CAC. So now you're grabbing usually it's about 15% of the LTV. So you're having another $1,200 for fulfillment as well. So this naturally allows us to actually look at what our true CAC is. And our true CAC is our gross LTV, divide that by our all-in acquisition and fulfillment cost. And now we actually get our true LTV to CAC ratio, which is 4,306 because we divide 8,500 minus the 4,140. So this is where we start. We have to build this up. And that's why people don't scale, is because you're constantly in this churn and burn business because your job is to actually expand via retaining clients. Now, there are only 4 ways to actually scale cash: more clients, higher prices, longer retention, and back-end upsells. Where I stayed stuck and where I see a lot of agencies stay stuck is by just chasing more clients and burning out their market, because reputation does get out if you're not good or you are good when you're trying to scale. So the smart ones focus on longer retention, back-end upsells, and increasing pricing. So let's kind of go over the different models. When I first started, I was selling very low ticket. I started with a 3K offer for 6 weeks and later bumped that up to 6K for 90 days. And I was just pumping new clients, not understanding back-end, retention game. Never really sold anyone past my first 200 clients. I literally lost millions of dollars with that one mistake, but that's how you start. You don't really understand the delivery process, charging more, but that's essentially model 1. You'd sell 40 clients at 2K a pop, and you're usually kind of getting lower level clients. You need to have a lot of operational awareness and growth to be able to hit 100K and maintain 100K, but that's what I did. So I developed a lot of skills in the process of growing because I needed to hire setters and closers and CSMs and media buyers and editors to just be able to manage my low-level clients that were coming in at such a high pace, so I didn't churn them out so quickly. Because most agencies just churn clients out in 30 to 60 days. They don't even last the 90 days. So if you can actually retain clients for 6 months, 8 months, a year, you're gonna be so much further ahead than every other agency. And that's what made us very attractive. We had clients that had been with us for 3 years. We had clients that had been with us for 2 years. 8 months was like what was happening. So that's tier 1. And that's based on your skills, right? I was just starting out, so you have to work on the low end kind of clientele, get them in the door, understand the process, and progress. But then we move into the model number 2, which is a mid-ticket offer. You're selling like 20 clients at 5K a month, normally servicing clients that are a little more sophisticated. They're likely at 50 to 100K already. And your job is to get at least a 3X investment on what they pay you, because now your team is a little more expensive and customer experience is super important, but that becomes your second model. And then the last model would be you're charging 10K a month, you're trying to get 10 clients, you might have even a profit share attachment to that. This is the hardest level to get to. I feel like people just start here, they try to charge 10K a month or get profit shares and things like that. People don't choose you. Like, it's your job to actually go through these ranks. And if you don't actually have a huge track record, you haven't actually scaled companies, I don't think you really warrant charging 10K and a profit share. Like, it makes no sense. I think you have to go through these layers. And honestly, if I were to start all over, I would go through the exact same pathway that I did. I need to develop skills for marketing. I had to develop skills for sales. I had to develop skills for fulfillment, client experience, hiring, all these things to get people to want to work for me, to get people to understand my vision, my culture, and what I'm trying to do. And that in itself is what allowed me to now go up and 1, exit, but 2, start growing the business where now I'm working with much higher end clients because I want to work with these clients and I'm not really needing the money. So my pathway would be what I would recommend to you is based on your skills. If you actually are good at what you do, then you can charge more. But you can't just charge more because you want to. You actually have to generate a result for people. And especially if you're charging 5K a month or 10K a month and profit share, you will very quickly cycle out of clients if you are not providing results. So just definitely provide results when you actually grow this thing. Let's actually talk about scaling. So I think the biggest issue that I see in the market is just spend more. But really, your ROAS starts tanking at a certain threshold when you hit your TAM. This happened to me. I was spending between 40K to 55K per month at a 6.4x ROAS. And the moment I spent 75K a month to just continue to scale, my lead quality dropped, my ROAS dropped, and I made the same amount of cash. So it's super important. I'm going to jump into my screen to walk you guys through a little bit on scaling ads and what you really should be doing, what you should be looking for to actually scale, because it's going to be very useful for you to actually grow your business. So to actually scale ads, I think it's super important to actually start looking at, apart from ROAS, which is what everyone talks about, is also your marketing qualified booked call. So your marketing qualified booked call allows you to have a direct awareness of what's going on within your business, because it allows you to have efficiency throughout your funnel. Because ROAS is just like your ad spend to your cash that came in, which is definitely what you need to be looking for. But throughout the conversion rates throughout the funnel, it's completely based on marketing qualified lead. And in this marketing qualified lead, I usually find that if you can get it between $200 to about $300, you're in a solid space. And I'll walk you through it. I'm going to pop up my case study so you can actually see when I spent 41 grand in May and all the leads that I generated and the conversion rates and everything. So I spent 41K on ads. I generated 1,200 leads, 1,256, got each lead at $32 a lead, closed 62 people that month. My cost per acquisition was $696 on just ads. Again, there is fulfillment and sales and everything that we have to account for. But in this metrics, we're just looking at just media, for example. We booked 258 calls at a cost per book call of $158 on the calendar. Okay. Then we had live calls, 170 were live. So we got a cost per live booked call, which was $241. Mind you, this is qualified booked calls right here. Okay, because we also had people that we disqualified. Now, our show up rate was 66. We offered 152 of those. We had 62 enroll from an 89% offer rate. And the other thing we got to look for is our close rate for our team and your dollar per lead upfront. So this is a massive number. What this accounts for is the total cash that came in. So $284,000, and we divide that by the total booked appointments on the calendar. This is the total overall of the company. I think anyone above 850 is solid, honestly, preferably above 1,000, but depending, like our price point at this was $6,000. So our dollar per lead, anything above 850 was solid for us specifically. It's going to vary depending on your price and everything like that. But this allows us to see which closers are the most efficient, because we got to see how much production each closer is getting via dollar per lead up front. Okay. Massive thing. But yeah, so we ended up getting 221K cash up front. We have Backend as well. I highly recommend you to run off of cash. Everyone likes to flex their revenue numbers. I really hate it. Like, you can't make decisions on that. It's only on cash. We had a light Backend ascension that month, which was 65K in revenue, collected 12,000 in cash Backend. So all in was 234,163. Our total AR was 44, so that's reoccurring monthly revenue. And then total cash, which was sitting at 291K cash. We had our labor, which sat at 24.8%. Our marketing, which was 14. Highly recommend, this is fulfillment and sales together. So here specifically, it's actually really good. 24% on all labor is solid. Marketing, I like to keep below 15%, ideally at 10, preferably. And then overhead, 15K, about 5%. That's totally solid. So running this entire thing at 128 total operating expense, running off a profit margin of 55% on 162 cash in profits specifically. So this is my case study on actually scaling ads. And these are the metrics you got to look for specifically to actually scale your business properly when you're scaling. Okay. But here's the issue. You can't actually scale ads without proper infrastructure. Your backend needs to be able to handle the influx of volume coming in. Otherwise, you're just going to be a churn and burn company. When I was structuring my 300K a month business, I had 51 staff, 192 active clients. I was hiring setters, closers, ops people, and growing the actual business properly to maintain this growth. I had explosive growth inside of the business. So we went all the way up and then came back down because I did not have the infrastructure to actually maintain the growth. And we didn't like drop significantly. This was like the first time we hit just under 300K. And then the next month we dropped down to 220K simply because I just had so much new influx of volume coming in. I could not handle the new onboards, the launching new clients, the expectations of growth. And I had to build my recruiting pipeline to start being able to bring in consistent volume of candidates to actually work for us, and then started getting much better at the client journey, started developing a lot more on when to start hiring CSMs, media buyers, editors properly, because by the time we hit 291, it was only like 18 months of launching this business. So it was very, very rapid growth inside of the whole entire operation. And it was because we were very focused on marketing and sales. So you can hit 100K through marketing and sales only, but you won't sustain it within your business simply because you need to retain clients. Like, the way that you actually make money and you grow is by keeping clients. And that's the biggest lesson I could pass to you. Like, keep your clients. It becomes way easier if you just sell 10, 15 people a month and you keep all of them, or you keep a majority of them, than doing what I did, which is sell 63 people and then next month I like churned 20 out of them. And that's mainly because of the infrastructure. Later, I developed the proper onboard, the process at scale where I could consistently sell 45, 50 new people per month and still manage all of those accounts. But I had a very big fulfillment team at that capacity to be able to manage that volume coming in. And the coolest part is actually your back-end systems. So for me, as I started to grow and expand my business, I started to actually upsell my clients. I upsold about 21% of all of my clients that came in on the front end into higher end packages. So someone would come in, they would pay $6,000 for 90 days. We would uptick their growth, set up their marketing ads, help them with their sales training, put up setters into their business if they needed it, or upsell them setters. And then after those 90 days at a peak emotion, we'd sell them on 12-month packages for 33 to 45K for the whole entire year, speeding up my entire sales velocity, getting cash velocity up front now. Instead of doing this month-to-month thing that everyone talks about, I would try to sell the 6K up front instantly. So I sped up that 90-day cash up now. I didn't get it all the time. We'd have about 64% upfront cash collected. And then on the back end, I also would speed up because I never let people pay month to month unless I financed them. It was always always a 3-pay, a 6-pay, an 8-pay for the whole entire 12 months. And if they were to do 12 months, I financed them, so I collected a ton of cash, usually 94% cash up front with my financing company. So the pathway for your business is to speed up sales velocity. The faster sales velocity you get, the more cash you get today, and you can now spend that into marketing, spend that into team, spend that into expanding your leadership growth to allow the business to expand. Because if you're month to month, yeah, it feels good that you have MRR, and you should have it, don't get me wrong, but you are actually growing significantly slower simply because of your pricing. And your pricing ultimately determines a lot of growth if you do it properly. Now let's just go through the math here. Let's say your client usually stays for 3 months, right? But you are able to sell them on a 12-month contract. Your LTV literally 4x's if you just sell them on that 12-month instead of just being month to month. Because the reality is, if you put someone on month to month, it feels like a subscription. And because it feels like a subscription, they feel like they can cancel anytime. And I felt this when I put people on subscriptions for this 12-month packages, because they would cancel at 4 months, at 6 months, because they could just feel that they can, because it's a monthly bill that comes out. When it's a bill that comes out once a quarter, or it comes out once every 6 months, or it comes out all up front right now, they don't feel it. They don't look at you as like, oh, are they doing a good job right now? Is like, what's going on? And they're not as volatile in terms of their emotions, because month to month, they could have something happening in their life. They could have something happening inside their business. This month's a slower down month, and they'll blame marketing, or they'll blame your service to be able to cancel as the lowest hanging fruit to remove. So always adjust your pricing to be, at least, if you're going to sell a 3-month thing, try to collect cash right now, or do a half pay down, or then a 3-pay, then you finalize into a month-to-month component. Highly recommend that to be your trajectory. This changed everything for me, because it then allowed me to be able to spend more money on ads. I'll spend my entire competition. I knew for a fact that no one was spending more money than me in my market, because I could see all their ads. They would turn it on and turn it off, turn it on, turn it off, because I was just stomping them out because I spent so much per month, because I knew I could sell people. My LTV was over 20K. I had people that were with me for 3+ years paying us 30K a year. So like, it's just so much easier to scale when you actually find your fulfillment systems dialed and you retain clients. And the cool part is you could actually do this pretty easily. I'll tell you exactly right now. You onboard properly, you do regular check-ins, you proactive communicate, you have clear deliverables. And what actually kills retention is over-promising things, no communication, lack of results. And for me to maintain 192 active clients, I had to keep communications really, really strong. I had set expectations. We did weekly one-on-ones with our clients, made sure they're growing, taught them business, maintained their growth. And that is what ultimately allowed me to actually sell to private equity at a 3.14x multiple. And I got 90% cash from immediately. And that's what actually allowed me to actually sell my company. It made it super, super attractive to private equity to look at the business, see the year-over-year growth within the business, see the continuation of clients through 12-month contracts that were signed, and people that were with us for 3 years, 2 years. We've only been in business for 3.9 years at the time. We had clients that had been with us for so long. So it showed that the results were there. We could retain clients because the fulfillment was so strong, and there was year-over-year growth. So being able to sell at a 3.14x multiple at a very small scale, it's a startup, really. Most companies don't sell in 4 years. They usually sell at year 7, year 10, year 15, and they usually don't sell for this amount of multiples, and not for multiple millions. Like, if you're gonna sell a very early stage company, it won't be for a lot of millions. It'll be for relatively small multiples, because there's a lot of founder risk still in the company. We're able to move all the founder risk out because we're able to have infrastructure, our org chart, and delivery that all did not depend on me. So if you want to scale to 100K per month, you need just those 3 things: the unit economics, where your LTV to CAC ratio is, your paid ads that scale profitably without taking your ROAS, and back-end systems that increase client value through upsells and retention. That's exactly what I did to build and exit my agency for multiple millions in just under 4 years. If you want help building your business that 100K month and structure an exit, I'm working with a small number of companies through my holding company. Click down on the link below and learn more.